Hello, my dear students. Today, I want to tell you a calm and simple story in easy English. It is a story about a young man, a big dream, and a choice that changed his life forever. Listen slowly and feel the words. Robinson Crusoe was born in England. He was born in the year 1632. His family was not poor. His father worked hard and had money. His mother took care of the home. Robinson had brothers and sisters. His parents wanted him to live a safe and quiet life. They wanted him to study, work, and stay close to home. For them, safety was the most important thing. But Robinson had a different dream. He did not dream about a calm life. He dreamed about the sea. He dreamed about ships, wind, and distant lands. When he looked at the ocean, he felt alive. He wanted to travel. He wanted to see new countries. He wanted to meet new people. This dream lived in his heart every day. His father was a kind man. He loved his son. One day, when Robinson was still young, his father spoke to him seriously. He said that life at sea was dangerous. He said that many men die on ships. He said that storms, hunger, and sickness wait on the ocean. His father wanted to protect him. When he spoke, his voice was full of fear and love. Robinson listened, but his heart was restless. He respected his father, but the dream did not disappear. Every day at home felt heavier. The walls felt smaller. The safe life began to feel like a cage. Robinson was not angry. He was confused. He stood between two worlds. One world was safe and known. The other was dangerous, but full of hope. And slowly, quietly, a decision began to grow inside. Useful phrases to remember. I have a dream. My family wants me to be safe. I feel restless inside. I want to see the world. I must choose my own path.
Chapter 2. First Journey and First Fear. Robinson did not leave his home in anger. He left with a quiet hope inside his chest. He believed that the sea would welcome him. He believed that travel would bring freedom and joy. When he finally stepped onto a ship, his heart was full of excitement. The smell of salt, the sound of waves, the movement of the ship, everything felt new and alive. This was the life he wanted. At first, the journey was easy. The weather was calm, the sky was clear. Robinson stood on the deck and watched the water. He felt proud. He felt brave. He thought about his father's words, but they felt far away now. The sea looked friendly. It looked endless and beautiful. Robinson told himself that he had made the right choice. Then the weather began to change. The wind grew stronger. The waves became higher. The ship moved up and down. The sky turned dark. Robinson felt fear for the first time. His body was cold. His hands shook. He could not sleep. He heard the wood of the ship cry under the force of the water. This was not the sea of his dreams. This was something wild and powerful. During the storm, Robinson thought about home. He thought about his bed. He thought about his parents. He asked himself why he had left safety behind. Other men on the ship looked calm, but inside, many of them were afraid too. When the storm finally passed, the morning felt quiet and strange. The sun returned, the sea rested again. Life continued as if nothing had happened.
One sailor laughed when Robinson spoke about his fear. He said the storm was small. He said this was normal life at sea. Robinson felt embarrassed, but also stronger. He understood something important. Fear does not mean weakness. Fear means learning. That night, Robinson slept deeply. The sea had tested him, and he was still alive. This first journey planted a seed inside Robinson. He learned that adventure always has a price. Excitement and danger live together. The sea could give wonder, but it could also take life. Still, even after fear, the dream did not die. It only changed shape. Robinson was no longer a boy chasing fantasy. He was becoming a man who understood risk, choice, and consequence. Useful phrases to remember. The weather is changing. I feel nervous, but I stay calm. The waves are getting bigger. I miss home right now. I made it through the storm. Chapter 3. Loss, Capture, and the Taste of Freedom. After his first journeys, Robinson did not return to a quiet life. The sea had already shaped his heart. He sailed again, hoping for profit and adventure. This time, the journey promised money and success. Robinson learned about trade. He learned what people needed in different lands. He felt confident. He felt useful. The sea was no longer just a dream. It became his work. But danger returned without warning. One day, a fast ship appeared on the horizon. It was not a friendly ship. It was a pirate ship. The pirates attacked quickly and without mercy. The fight was short and brutal. Robinson saw men fall. He saw blood and fear. There was no escape. The ship was taken, and Robinson lost his freedom in one moment. He became a slave. His days were long and hard. He worked under the hot sun. He followed orders. He had no control over his life. The sea that once promised freedom now held him in chains. At night, Robinson lay awake and thought about his past choices. He thought about his home. He thought about the life he left behind. Pain and regret became his quiet companions. But inside him, a small fire stayed alive. Robinson did not accept slavery as his fate. He watched carefully. He listened. He waited. One day, opportunity arrived. During a fishing trip, Robinson and a young boy were alone on a small boat. The moment was dangerous, but it was his only chance. Fear and courage met inside him. He chose courage. Robinson escaped. The sea carried him away once more, but this time he was free. His hands were shaking, but his heart was strong. Freedom tasted sharper after suffering. Every breath felt precious. He had no map and no clear future, but he was alive and in control again. This chapter of his life changed him deeply. Robinson learned that freedom is not guaranteed. It can disappear in a single moment. He also learned that the human spirit can survive darkness. The sea was no longer just a place of adventure. It became a teacher, and its lessons were written in fear, endurance, and hope. Useful phrases to remember. They attacked our ship. We had no choice. I lost my freedom. I am looking for a chance to escape. I want my life back. Chapter 4. Alone on the Island. The sea was calm. The storm was over. The ship was gone. I stood on the beach for a long time. I looked at the water. I looked at the sky.
I looked at the empty land. I was alone. There were no people, no voices, no help, only the sound of waves. I felt fear in my body. My heart was fast. My hands were cold, but I stayed still. I knew panic was dangerous. Panic makes bad decisions. I told myself to breathe slowly. I told myself to think. I understood one thing very clearly. If I wanted to live, I had to act. I walked along the beach. I watched the sand. I looked for anything useful. I found broken wood from the ship. I found a rope. I found a small knife in my pocket. It was not much, but it was something. I understood that small things matter now. Even a knife can save a life. I picked everything up. I carried it with me. Soon I felt thirsty. My mouth was dry. My head was heavy. I needed fresh water. I walked inside the island slowly. I listened to every sound. I watched the trees. I watched the ground. I was afraid of animals. I did not know this place.
After some time, I heard water. It was a small stream. The water was clear. I drank carefully. I did not drink too fast. My body felt stronger. My mind felt clearer. Then I thought about the night. I knew night was dangerous. I needed a safe place. I heard strange animal sounds. They were loud. They were close. I did not sleep on the ground. I climbed a tree. I stayed there. I did not sleep well. I woke up many times, but I stayed alive. In the morning, I went back to the beach. I looked at the sea again. I saw the ship far away. It was broken. It was dangerous, but it was also full of things I needed. I fought for a long time. Then I decided to try. I took off my clothes. I swam to the ship. The water was cold. My body was tired, but I reached it. Inside the ship, I felt hope. I found bread. I found rice. I found tools. I found clothes. I found guns and gunpowder. I knew these things could help me survive. I made a small raft. I carried things to the island. I made many trips. I was tired. My muscles hurt. But every trip made me stronger. Every trip gave me more confidence. I was still alone, but now I had food. I had tools. I had hope. I was no longer waiting to die. I was learning how to live. Useful phrases to remember. I was completely alone. I stayed calm. I needed fresh water. I decided to try. I felt hope again.
Chapter 5. Learning to Live Alone. Days started to pass slowly. One day became many days. I stopped counting hours. I started counting actions. Every morning I woke up early. The sun woke me. The birds woke me. I stood up and looked at the sea. I always looked for ships. I hoped. I waited. But I did not stop working. I made a simple routine. Routine helped my mind. Without routine, fear grows. In the morning, I looked for food. I checked my traps. I collected fruit. I hunted small animals. Sometimes I was successful. Sometimes I failed. Failure did not stop me. It taught me. I learned the island slowly. I walked carefully. I watched animal paths. I learned where they drink water. I learned which places were safe.
I learned which places were dangerous. The island became less scary. It became familiar. Familiar means safer. I built a shelter near a hill. The hill protected one side. I used wood and earth. I made a fence. It was not beautiful, but it was strong. I slept better. My body relaxed. My mind rested. Safety changed everything. I learned to save food. I learned to dry meat. I learned to keep fire alive. Fire was very important. Fire meant warmth. Fire meant light. Fire meant protection. At night, I stayed near the fire. I listened to the sounds. I learned which sounds were normal. I learned which sounds were dangerous. Loneliness came quietly, not every day, mostly at night. I thought about my family. I thought about my old life. I missed voices. I missed conversations. Sometimes I spoke to myself. Sometimes I spoke to the sea. Speaking helped. Silence was heavy. I decided to write. I made marks to count days. I wanted to remember time. Time gave structure. Structure gave meaning. I was not just surviving, I was living. I also trained my body. I walked long distances. I carried heavy wood. My body became stronger. My hands became harder. My movements became confident. Strength gave me calm. Calm gave me control. Slowly, fear changed. It did not disappear, but it became smaller. I understood one thing. I could not control the island, but I could control myself, and that was enough. I was alone, but I was not helpless. Useful phrases to remember. I made a daily routine. I learned from mistakes. I built a safe place. I miss human voices. I can survive here.
Chapter 6. Becoming Strong Inside. One morning, I saw something strange on the beach. It was not wood. It was not an animal. It was a human footprint. I stopped walking. My body froze. My heart started to beat fast. I looked around many times. I saw no one. The island was silent, but the mark was real. I knew it was not mine. I understood one thing very clearly. I was not alone anymore. Fear returned quickly. Old fear, deep fear, the kind of fear that makes your chest tight. I did not sleep well that night. Every sound felt louder. Every shadow felt closer. I held my gun. I listened. I waited. But nothing happened. The night passed. In the morning, my fear was still there, but something else appeared too. Awareness. I did not panic like before. I did not run. I started to think. I asked myself what I could control. I could control my actions. I could control my place. I could control my mind. I decided to protect my home better. I checked my fence. I made it stronger. I hid my fire better. I walked less on the open beach. I watched from high places. I learned to observe before acting. Fear became information, not a command. Days passed. Nothing happened. No people came. No voices. No signs. Slowly, my body relaxed again. I understood that danger does not always mean action. Sometimes danger means preparation. I looked at myself differently now. I was not the young man who ran from home. I was not the scared sailor in the storm. I was not the slave who waited for freedom. I was a man who learned patience. I learned silence. I learned discipline. Loneliness felt different too. It was still there, but it did not hurt the same way. I accepted it. Acceptance brought calm. Calm brought clarity. I created meaning in my days. I worked. I planned. I improved my shelter. I improved myself. I stopped asking when I would be saved. I started asking how I would live today. One thought stayed with me every evening. I survived not because I was lucky. I survived because I adapted, because I learned, because I did not give up when fear spoke loudly. The island did not change. I did. Useful phrases to remember. I noticed something unusual. I stayed alert. I focused on what I could control. Fear gave me information. I became stronger inside. Thank you for watching this story with me. If you enjoyed learning English through calm stories, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. This format helps you relax, listen, and learn naturally. Remember, English is not about speed, it is about consistency. See you in the next story.
Thanks! Please subscribe and like. Spin a new yarn with us every week. See you there!